but with a warm heart beneath all that silky fur.
Is that why he was petting him in the other video? I'm learning a lot about Linnaeus right now. Hey internet, it's Jessica and welcome back to Chess Ablaze with Linnaeus' route, and now we're gonna continue on where we left off, and we kind of got like a warning from Raphael about Linnaeus, about his past and stuff, but I'm still very wary of him because I don't exactly trust the guy, and at the same time, it seems kind of inappropriate for him to tell us that when it should be Linnaeus who should be telling like, hey, my parents used to be part of the cult of Ignatius, but, you know, he told us anyway. He ends up following me back to the castle, and as much as I try to disentangle myself from him, he sticks to my side rather persistently. Uh-oh. When we reach the guest rooms, as we pass up by his own, Raphael insists on writing his room number on a piece of parchment paper so that I can come visit him before the masquerade. I accept the scrap of paper rather dubiously, previously glancing over his handwriting. It's flamboyant and full of swirls, but I can make out the numbers, as well as the ornate "Come see me soon" drawn on the back. I let out a sigh of relief after Raphael finally lets me leave, and I hurry away before he can call out again. As I return to my room, through his words continually resurface in my mind. I'm not sure why he lied about the past when he knows I could easily ask Linnaeus if it was fake, so I don't doubt that his story holds the truth. The more sensible option, of course, would be to stop associating with Linnaeus altogether. If I just left him alone, I doubt he'd come after me. I'd spare him what sounds like the inevitable heartbreak, and he'd probably be better off without me and his hair anyway. I always consider myself a logical man. Why, then, is the most logical prospect the most distasteful one? Because, you know, you like him, but at the same time, I don't think that's, like, the right thing to do. Obviously not. Sighing to myself, I step inside my chambers, wondering if there's any way I can assume myself to get off my mind of such subjects before bedtime. And then my gaze drops down to the ground. A note? Just who's slipping notes under my door? Murmuring inquisitively to myself, I lean down and pick up the paper in question. The penmanship is exquisite, but the words themselves are brief. We're both probably out of practice when it comes to dancing, so let's meet in the ballroom tonight after everyone's asleep. Bring your mask, and don't make me wait. Is it Linnaeus, or is it a trap? Like, I don't know. There's only one person who could have written this, surely. Linnaeus. He wants me to meet him tonight? My heart does the somersault in my chest, and I crumble the note in my hand with a sudden rush of excitement. Raphael's lingering warning is relegated to dust in the corner of my mind, along with the court etiquette and procedures I've been tutored in. The fact that Linnaeus invited me to dance rather than spend his night investigating and poring over his duties, doesn't that mean something? Well, there's no way I can refuse. Besides, if possible, I'd like to ask him a little bit more about himself. Oh, and I almost forgot. I have to ask him about this bottle, too. I pulled a little crystalline container from my pocket, deciding I might as well examine it while I wait for time to pass. The odd white powder shifts around in the bottle as I roll the bottle between my fingers, squinting and trying to discern what could it possibly be. It doesn't really make much sense for it to be like sugar or salt. In that case, perhaps it's a drug of some sort, or... Is it possible? Did he just realize it's probably the poison? This powdery white substance might be poison. Maybe it's unlikely, but my gut feeling tells me somehow this is related to the murder case. That guard. I wonder if he recognized it. Is he somehow involved in all this? I'll definitely ask Linnaeus about it. If I show him the bottle, as well as the keys from earlier, I bet he'll be thrilled at getting potential new leads. He might even give me a reward. I snicker happily to myself, no doubt resembling a puppy excited to bring something back to its master. Oh my god. I don't want to say it yet because I'm assuming, but if you catch on what I think is happening here, oh boy. Well, what can I say? Everyone likes to feel useful somehow now and then. I spend a little while longer trying to glean any more clues from the bottle, although I can't find much. Setting it aside for now, I decide to try to refresh some of my dancing lessons in my head and rehearse a few of the steps I can remember. I really never thought dancing would come in handy, but I'd rather not look like a fool in front of Linnaeus, although I don't get much of a skilled dancer vibe from him, despite the fact that he's so tall and a perfect form for it. The night quickly deepens as I indulge myself in a few happy fantasies, all the while waltzing an enchanting melody inside my mind. When I finally press my ear on the bedroom door and I hear only silence, I decide it's time to head downstairs. Please don't be a trap, please. Slipping on my mask, I head out to the corridor, which is eerily quiet compared to its normal state during the day. The voices from the main hall usually always float up here, giving it a pleasantly homely feeling, but he's so silent at night. I can't help but feel like some young romantic stealing out of his room to meet his lover. Ha! What a ridiculous image. He's getting ahead of himself, isn't he? He's so, into Linnaeus. I hurry in the direction of the lower level, quickly winding my way through the hall, finally emerging on the grand balcony and descending the staircase 2 steps at a time. Finally, I reach the ballroom doors, which is firmly closed. I hope he's here, and I'm not too early, or too late. I grasp the handle and slowly pull it open, my breath catching in my throat, and the sound of my own fast heartbeat filling my ears. The light of the full, palest moon is the only thing illuminating the dark ballroom as I hesitantly step forward, crossing the threshold into the sprawling chamber. It looks so ethereal, almost dreamlike, when it's dark and utterly silent like this. I almost feel like I'm stepping into another world entirely, one completely separate from the energetic scene I witnessed the other night. Then my eyes fall upon a tall, elegant figure standing in the center of the otherwise empty floor. His back is to me, but the long black hair falling on his shoulders, as well as the refined and exquisite posture, makes it easy to recognize who it is. Linnaeus? My voice echoes into the ballroom with uncertainty, betraying my nervousness. Whoa, it is him! Oh! Okay, that's cool. In response, the figure turns to face me and I catch a glimpse of his masked figure in the moonlight. He holds out a hand to me expectantly, looking unusually phantom-like, as the pale beam streaming in through the windows reflected in his clothes. He's like Phantom of the Opera! Reminding myself that it's only Linnaeus, I approach him slowly, trying to discern his expression through the mask. When I get close, I can tell that he's smiling a little, a sight so relatively rare that I find a trace of excitement bubbling through me.
You decided to finally show up, I see. That mask suits you well.
It's like his tone of voice is so different right now. His words come out softly, and I'm taken aback how warm his slow voice is. Is it even possible for the same man to be icy, unforgiving, and Is this even possible for this man to be the icy, unforgiving inquisitor I know? Even his normally hawk-like gaze seems gentler and more passionate, like the ice has melted, for a little while at least.
Would you mind hurrying up so that I don't have to keep holding my hand like this? I am getting a wrist cramp, Varrison.
That's more like Linnaeus, I know. Aww, he's so short! Look how short Rivian is! Jesus Christ! Smirking to myself, I put my hand in his own, to which he quickly responds by pulling me closer. As one of his arms snakes around my back, while the other clasps my hand tightly, I am struck once more by how tall he is. We've never been this close before while facing each other, but Linnaeus is on par with Franz's height, even though he's more leanly built. I'm going to get a neck cramp from having to look up to you for so long, you know? Damn giant.
Why don't you rest your head against my shoulder then? I don't want to have to hear your endless...
What the fuck is happening? Yo, he's so different right now. Twisting my lips in disapproval at his teasing, I decided to take him up for the offer anyway. Leaning in, I let my head lightly press on his shoulder, closing my eyes with a soft exhale. His scent is faint but pleasant one, a mixture of something like vanilla with a dusty tinge, probably from the scrolls and the books he pores over all the time. After I nestle in place, Linnaeus finally starts to guide me with unhurried steps in the slow, gentle dance, and it doesn't take me long to find his gradual rhythm and fall into place with it. My racing heartbeat slows down a little bit as my nerves dissipate somewhat, but it continues to pound despite the relaxed nature of our movements. It still feels like this isn't really happening, and somehow I stepped into a dream world. I've been trying to ignore the strange emotions that have been rising inside of me the first time I met this insufferable man, but for whatever reason, they just won't go away. I remember wondering why on earth the king would ever want to keep someone like Linnaeus around, but I think I understand now. Beyond his keen perception and intuition, he is so determined that I have to wonder what could ever stop him. Even if his words are brutally sharp most of the time, I feel like they're just thorns that he keeps himself untouchable. Exactly. Like I said earlier, he's just being kind of a dick because he doesn't want to get hurt. That's the only reason. I have to wonder, though, is he really capable of loyalty to something other than his duties? My curiosity drives me to open my eyes, lifting my head to look up at Linnaeus inquisitively. He gazes back down at me and raises an eyebrow, perhaps prompting me to ask whatever's on my mind. Linnaeus, has there ever been anything you love more than your job as Inquisitor? Or have your responsibilities always been first in your heart? That's a no! My question seems to completely catch Linnaeus off guard. For a moment, he looks surprisingly vulnerable and maybe even lost, like he doesn't even know the answer himself. Finally, he turns his head a little to the side, a misty and nostalgic look softly filling his eyes.
There was once something I loved more than anything. Yes. It was mine when I was younger, and we were only torn apart a few years ago.
Who? What? The tender, affectionate note in his voice makes my heart sink uncomfortably. Is he talking about a lover? Rivian's jealous!
He was always so aloof, around both me and others. He'd always refuse to come into my arms when I wanted to hold him. But when I needed him most, he'd always be there.
This is so weird. Like, I'm so used to Linnaeus being a complete asshole, but like, he's so different right now. The Inquisitor's lips curve into a smile so warm that it makes him almost unrecognizable. It sounds like you were very close. It's a struggle to keep my voice from being laced with loneliness or annoyance at how much a memory can make Linnaeus so wistful.
Oh, we were. His fiery spirit and independence were what drew me to him. And it's what I miss about him most. If cruel death had not separated us, he would doubtlessly be with me right now.
Oh, no! So it's like, I don't know if it's like his boyfriend or friend he just had a crush on. He died! Death? He was murdered? Or was it an accident? I bit my lip immediately after blurting out the question. Yeah, Rivian, that's a bit, much. Damn it, I hope I didn't dredge up any painful memories. The death of a lover has to be an incredible, horrible subject. But to my shock, Linnaeus lets out a faint snort and dry laugh, shaking his head at me.
Murdered? No, nothing like that. Cats just have naturally short lifespans, you know.
Oh!
He succumbed to old age, as we all eventually do.
Oh, he's talking about... He's a cat! Oh, he's a cat man! He likes cats! Well, that's new. My feet freeze in place and I stare blankly at Linnaeus for a moment. He was talking about a cat? Apparently recognizing my confusion, he gives me a mischievous grin, like I just fall into his trap.
Surely you didn't think I was referring to a lover, did you?
He's so mean.
I thought you were acting a bit strange.
I'm starting to think Linnaeus can actually read my mind. Am I that transparent, or is he just an expert at his job? I think it's both.
You're making a remarkably adorable face right now. Let me guess. Can he read my mind? Am I right?
That's not funny, I'm even wearing a mask, but you can still see right through me. Chuckling in satisfaction, Linnaeus releases his grip on my wasted hand, reaching instead to cup my cheeks in his palms. Oh my god, why?
That is simply because you're so much like my cat. A tiny ball of claws and sharp teeth, but with a warm heart beneath all that silky fur.
Is that why he was petting him in the other video? I'm learning a lot about Linnaeus right now. He gently pulls the mask from my face, lifting up his own, and then starts to lean in slowly. His lips brush softly against my own. Oh my god, he's kissing him! Whoa, okay. And I desperately, fervently hope that this isn't a dream. When I don't pull away or flinch, Linnaeus presses in more, seeing the distance between us in a full-fledged kiss. Rather than just one long kiss, however, he teases me with several small, sweet ones, and I can feel my face growing serially hotter.
You're trembling. You must be very innocent indeed behind that proud facade you keep up. Or am I moving too fast for your little heart to handle?
Oh my god, Linnaeus, I didn't think he would just be like, go at it. Because like, Franz was really like, I really want to sleep with like Rivian. But like, I didn't think Linnaeus would be like that. I figured he'd be like, wait a little bit. Because he's so not trusting of people. So, quit teasing me. I thought we came to an accord on this a while back. His lips wander along my cheek, leaving a string of kisses in their wake, so delicate that I can barely stand it.
Well, you're not trying to run away, and you're flushed the color of a rose. Surely you can't mind it that much.
God damn it! I clutched the front of his coat tightly, hoping the fabric would give me some sort of grounding as Linnaeus offers me such affection. His actions are far sweeter than any of his words. No one's ever treated me like this before, and Linnaeus, of all people, is the man who currently has my world spinning. He pauses, then he leans in close to my ear and nuzzles lightly against it.
Rivian, there is something I must ask you.
Why are you whispering? We're the only ones here.
I expect an earnest, quick reply.
I close my eyes, my breath momentarily catching in my throat as his low sensual murmur echoes in my ear. Oh god! The soft brush of his lips to my skin indicates he's about to pose that question, and I cling on to him all the more tightly. What the hell is that? All of a sudden, there's a muffled noise from behind the closed ballroom doors. It sounds like some kind of scuffle, but there's definitely no one else around there when I came in earlier. I exchange glances with Linnaeus, who nods, and we quietly move towards the door. The sound continues getting louder as we near the exit. My mind races through the unpleasant possibilities of who could be out there. We didn't even get to hear Linnaeus' question, damn it! It might be anyone, of course, but the Duchess' murderer still hasn't been caught, and it's dead of night. Taking a deep breath, I start to turn towards Linnaeus to whisper about the best plan of action when... What is it? Before I get the chance, he abruptly throws the door open, striding out with hesitation. After that, before us is an incredibly strange sight. What? What is happening? Silas, the butler, is grappling with the guard in full arm. What is Silas doing? He's fighting! The sword in the guard's hand is somehow Silas is keeping his arm trapped. How on earth is he even to fight back? He's unarmed! Silas! I unthinkingly cry out to him, about to rush over to try to help. He casts a brief glance in his direction, his eyes widening in surprise. Long fingers curl onto my wrist, however, before I can move towards the butler. Linnaeus is holding me back, and his firm grip is too powerful for me to wiggle away. His fingers are like iron from all holding the quill all day. Damn it!
You there! Just what do you think you're doing?
His voice resounds commandingly in the dark main hall, and the guard's helmeted head quickly swivels in our direction.
Unhand the servant, or you will find yourself swinging from the gallows before the end of a fortnight.
The guard steps back from Silas, turning instead towards Linnaeus and me. His towering bulk makes my heart freeze in my chest, and I try my hardest not to keep terror from reflecting in my face. Even though I can't see who he is, I have an unshakable feeling that's the same guard who was cornering me earlier. Of course, this guy's not really a guard, it's kinda obvious. Why is he attacking the butler? That makes no sense. He's definitely involved in something shady. First the bottle, now this? The 10 seconds that follow feel like an eternity, but Linnaeus doesn't flinch or move, and instead stares straight ahead at the guard with an impassively frigid expression. Both of us are completely defenseless, and I'm sure the guard could chop us to pieces if he was quick enough. But somehow, Linnaeus' cold gaze seemed to hold the man in place, and the world falls into a stasis around us.
Inquisitor.
Letting out a growl and a low, mocking laugh, the guard steps back from Silas and shoves his sword back into its sheath. What the hell? A moment later, he turns and sets off sprinting into the darkness, moving at an astonishing rate for someone who's wearing so much armor. Wait! Come back here, you! When I make another attempt to pull away, yet Linnaeus yanks me back, and I let out a low hiss of annoyance. What's the matter with you, Linnaeus? He's getting away! We have to catch him! A familiar, sharp, cool glint shines in the Inquisitor's eyes, the aloof look he so often wears. He glances down at me briefly, only to offer a dismissive shake of his head.
Only a fool would pursue an armed man.
Yeah, he has a point.
Especially when he could be leading us right into a trap. It is far more prudent to have the rest of the guards immediately alerted.
When the attacker's footsteps vanish completely to silence, Linnaeus finally releases my arm, and I grit my teeth in frustration. He's right, I suppose, but I can't believe we just letting him go like that. Silas, are you alright? My attention quickly turns to the butler, who is standing in the same place he was, struggling with the guard, a dark look on his features. When I hurry over to him to see if he's injured, however, Silas offers me a weak shadow of his normal smile, smoothing over his crisp coat.
I am unharmed, sir. I was
Well, why was he
Rather taken
attacking
by
you, though?
surprise, but I managed to evade his attacks due to their hampered speed.
He appears to be a little shaken, although not nearly as much as I would be if I were almost cleaved in two by Croy's guard. What the hell happened out here? Did he just attack you for no reason? Silas paused before replying, his eyes flickering away from my own to follow Linnaeus instead, and as I hear the Inquisitor's footsteps approaching from behind.
A note was slipped under my door, sir, requesting that I attend to a sensitive matter with a guest in the main hall. I was ambushed as soon as I descended the staircase.
Huh. Interesting. Considering we had a note slipped under our door, which was from Linnaeus, but this is a little bit different. For whatever reason, I get the feeling that he isn't being entirely truthful. His normal, straightforward manner seems unusually guarded, and his words sound particularly careful and deliberated.
This is a matter that should not be treated lightly. A wolf in sheep's clothing is a hazard to all of His Majesty's guests, and that man must be caught as soon as possible.
Linnaeus' voice resonates with the same icy vein as before. It's like he flipped a switch inside him, and now he's back to the Bloodhound Inquisitor state. Silas gazes at Linnaeus with a furrowed brow, then glances over to me a moment later with a hesitant look on his face. He's certainly puzzled over something, perhaps whether or not to divulge us into what really happened. I think that's what's going on. It's not that he's like hiding something, it's the fact that he's not sure if he should say it or not. Speak up, let Linnaeus handle it. Ooh. I mean, yeah, I would like to ask him, but you know, Rivian he's kind of impulsive if I'm being really honest. And yeah, Linnaeus knows how to handle these things, but I don't know if he'll handle it in time to like catch the person who's doing this before something else happens. Maybe we do need to let Linnaeus handle it, because no offense to Rivian, he's very impulsive and oftentimes he gets himself into trouble, so I feel like maybe we should let him handle it. It's better probably to stay silent, since this is Linnaeus' domain rather than mine.
I will not indict you in any matters if you provide the complete truth to me, Silas. You have my word.
His tone grows slightly less aloof, but still holds a resolute firmness. Silas finally offers somewhat reluctant non-response, his brow creasing with worry.
Very well, sir. I will impart all that I know, provided we move to a more discreet location.
That's fine,
However,
just as long as he tells us. His lips curl into an apologetic smile, and he strains his slightly ruffled lapel with a gloved hand.
I can only divulge such information if Sir Rivian is not present, I'm afraid.
Really? Me? Why am I related to all this information? Does Silas not trust me? Is he planning on implicating me somehow?
Understood. In that case, let us make haste to my office. Rivian, you should return to your room immediately.
Well, I mean, if they were trying to place the blame on Rivian, I don't think Linnaeus would, like, you know, consider that to be the truth, because he did believe this from the start, so I don't think we have to worry about that, but I think it's interesting that Silas doesn't want to say anything to us, considering he told us everything in the other routes. If you think about it, every time Rivian had a problem, he'd go up to Silas and be like, what's going on here? And Silas would just say it. So I find it really interesting that he's not doing it this time. Agreeing to Silas's terms without any hesitation, or even questioning why I can't be involved, Linnaeus turns to me with a sharp look. My first instinct is to protest, or not to point out how I probably met the guard earlier, or even bring up the possible evidence I found and try to convince them that I should be a part of things. And yet, something about being brushed off briskly ends up bashing those thoughts from my mind, replacing them with a miserable sense of isolation. Fine. Trying to keep my voice from sounding too sulky or hurt, I turn away from the others before the two can before my face can betray my frustration. Again, Linnaeus completely shuts me out as the moment's notice, like he's able to willfully ignore my existence. It makes my stomach tighten with an unpleasant mix of anger and disappointment as I force myself to the stairs, climbing up towards the second floor. When I reach the balcony, I can't help but steal a glance down at Linnaeus and Silas. They're still standing where I left them, murmuring in hushed tones, nodding to each other's words. I turn myself away and walk slowly towards the guest rooms, biting my lower lip. The hallway seems desolate and lonely as I move through them. A part of me is tempered to hide near Linnaeus' room and eavesdrop on this conversation I'm not supposed to hear, but my curiosity is dampened by how heavy my heart feels. Our dancing earlier. Maybe it really was a dream. Raphael's earlier words about his loyalty to the king, I think I can see the truth in them for myself. Even if I can win a little affection from him now and then, is it even worth it? if I know that he's able to drop me the second something related to his duties involved. I mean, yeah, but at the same time, it's just like, you guys don't even know each other that well to be, like, lovers or whatever. But I get what he's trying to say. Like, if he was to get involved with him as a lover, would he put his feelings for Rivian, over his job? Because his job is pretty much his life. But would he do that for him? That's the question. Bitter thoughts circle in my head as I reach my chambers, and as silly as I feel for brooding over something like this, it just won't go away. I contemplate heading out into the balcony to get some fresh air and clear my head, but my body feels too drained of energy to face the process of anything except sleep. Throwing off my clothes haphazardly, I slide under the bed sheets and close my eyes with a heavy exhale. Thoughts of Linnaeus and the vivid images of the Moonlight Ballroom make me restless, toss and turn for several minutes. Eventually, I fall into a shallow slumber while clutching my pillow tightly, praying for peaceful dreams. Uh-oh, okay. The sound of loud, impatient knocking rattles me from my sleep. Go away!
Riv, are you in there?
Arden?
I have to speak to you.
What the hell's going on? An unexpected voice urgently calls to me and I bolt upright in surprise. Why is Arden, of all people, knocking on my door? Jumping out of bed, I pull off my clothes as fast as I can before hurrying over to the exit. When I fling the door open, I'm greeted by Arden's worried face and a sense of apprehension washes over me. Arden? What is it? What's the matter?
It's the Inquisitor. He's been detained on suspicion of the Duchess's murder.
What the fuck? Possible? There's no way! How could the king possibly suspect his own Inquisitor?
He's in the cells beneath the castle right now.
What the hell?
Waiting to be brought before the Lord Chamberlain. I noticed the two of you earlier, so I thought you'd want to know.
Ooh, yikes. Because remember, Arden's still in love with Rivian, but thanks, Arden, for doing that.
But I'm sure he's innocent. There's no way the Inquisitor would do something like that. He may be cold and cruel, but he's no murderer.
I agree. I know that, Arden, but why did they suspect him? They can't just make a baseless accusation against someone with a high rank like Linnaeus. Arden pauses, swallowing and furrowing his eyebrows in frustration.
I hear they're going off testimony.
What?
One of the guests saw him rushing through the halls around the time the Duchess was killed. And beyond that, the fact that he was the one who supposedly discovered her jewels.
Oh, shit.
There's a few other small things, none of which would really prove his guilt. But the king's advisors are desperate to have a culprit named and punished.
So they're
they
just
can repair
saying him.
relations with the Catarian Empire.
This reeks of a setup. As much as I don't want to think about it, a dark cloud of suspicion starts to form in the corner of my mind. The one who detained him. It was the Justiciar, wasn't it?
How did you know?
Oh, of course it's that bitch! As I thought, Raphael either genuinely suspects Linnaeus of murdering the Duchess, or he's framing him. Linnaeus was right all along. There is something foul at work here. Arden, I need to see Linnaeus. Take me to the cells. I rush back into my room for a moment to grab things I found yesterday, shoving them into my pockets. With luck, Linnaeus will listen to me, or at least let me show him the scant clues I have. Although, a foreboding feeling tells me that he'll be in a bad state. Oh god. Trying to keep my breathing calm, I follow Arden downstairs, through the dark corridors I explored before. We exchange no words as we walk, and I grimly brood in my own thoughts as the sound of our footsteps echo off the walls. Linnaeus. I want to help him. Even if I didn't feel anything for him, I still believe he's honest and innocent. I won't stand by and watch him take the fall for something he didn't do. He covered up for me the other night, and I'll be damned if I won't repay the favor. Oh god. Finally, we emerge in the dark, grim room, and I can barely make out the shape of iron bars in the distance.
I'll let you talk. If you need anything, I'll be outside.
Okay, thanks, Arden. I nod my thanks to Arden, who gives me a lingering, hesitant look before stepping back into the hall, closing the door behind him. Growing tense, I approach the prison cells with determined steps, stopping only when the bars keep me from continuing any further. Linnaeus, are you alright? Oh, hey! A shadowy figure slumps against the wall, suddenly turns his head towards me.
Rivian.
His voice resonates with disbelief as he stares for a moment before finally averting his gaze to one side.
A little ironic, isn't it? The Inquisitor locked up in a jail cell.
But it's not your fault.
Certainly gives me empathy for convicts, that's for certain.
Linnaeus, this is serious. We have to get your name cleared as soon as possible. He lets out a hollow laugh, the corner of his mouth not so much of a triumph, turning upwards.
I deserve it, really. I let myself fall into that man's well-placed trap. I suppose that means I'm not so fit to
Wait,
serve
was
in
Silas a
people
trap
after all.
then? The colorless sound of his voice makes anger well up inside me, and anger I didn't know I could feel on another person's behalf. What kind of things are you saying? You were framed. There's no way it could possibly be your fault. I know you're innocent, Linnaeus, and Raphael is trying to bring you down.
Ah, you figured it out, have you? It seems I underestimated your powers of observation. Yes, he's been plotting against me from the beginning.
Well, that's obvious enough. You can see the way he talks about it and looks at Linnaeus too, so... Exalting a quiet breath, Linnaeus pushes out the wall as he leans that he was leaning against, taking several steps closer to where I was standing on the other side of the bars. The haggard look on his features make my chest feel heavy. I tightly curl my fingers around the iron separating us.
The reason why I didn't believe it at first was... well, I doubted that he hated me enough to conspire with his worst enemies just so he could make his plan work. I was incorrect.
His worst enemies? You don't mean he's working with the disciples? Linnaeus grimly nods, pressing his lips together tightly. Oh, I was right! This bitch is part of the cult! Oh my god! I get a sense that from him that he feels betrayed as much as anything, even if he and Raphael didn't get along before.
From my discussion with the butler last night, I gleaned that the guard is an agent of the cult.
Yeah?
He's been blackmailing Silas into doing his bidding, but when the butler tried to refuse, the agent decided to eliminate him.
Oh, okay, so I was right, yeah, and a lot of you were right too in the comments. Silas was being blackmailed. He didn't do anything, he was just forced to do all of this. Silas is being blackmailed? That explains how strange he's been acting. I wonder what they're blackmailing him with.
My best assumption is that Silas stole the jewels and the agent poisoned the Duchess. Raphael is the orchestrator, and he was attempting to frame me for one of the crimes. Or both. However, my investigation yesterday was all but fruitless. And so I'm left with nothing to defend myself with, save for my words against theirs. As much as the king trusts me, the situation is desperate, and a war could hang in the balance.
That's not fair, dude. Like, he didn't do anything, but they're just like, we don't have anyone else to, like, say they're the murderer, so we'll just blame it on him, regardless if it's true or not. I study his resigned expression, wondering how he could possibly give up so easily. Is it because he feels like both the king and his own cousin stabbed him in the back? Or does he blame himself for being deceived? Does he really think this makes him unfit for his duties, the thing he cares so much for? As the thoughts run in my head through my mind, I grow more and more determined to set Linnaeus free. I'm no inquisitor or investigator, or even an able player of these treacherous court games, but if I inherit anything from my father, it's my stubbornness to never let go. Linnaeus, I found some things yesterday. I think they might be evidence that can help you. I reach into my pocket and pull out 2 sets of keys, as well as a tiny bottle. Linnaeus inhales sharply, his eyes going wide. This bottle probably contained the poison that killed the Duchess. It was in the gardens, floating in the fountains. And these keys, they were extra copies of both yours and mine laying on the floor in the servants' quarters. If I had to guess, I'd say they belonged to whoever put the necklace in my room, and maybe they were thinking about planting it in yours? He intently examines the bottle and the keys, picking them up from my hand and bringing them close to his face, narrowing his eyes. It doesn't take him long to return them to my palm, however, as he eyes me with a slightly odd expression. When I found the bottle, I met the guard from yesterday too. From the nervous way he was acting, I think it belongs to him, which means he really did poison the Duchess. The pieces begin to form a complete picture in my head. I can only hope, however, that it's enough to make others see the same thing.
Rivian, you really...
Are you impressed? For maybe the first time, he gazes with me with something like true admiration, or perhaps even respect. I guess he thought that I had decided not to help him with the investigation, or that I'd given up on him. Well, it's a far cry from what someone like father could have found, but I just wanted to prove to you that I could be some of use, even though I wasn't expecting to be under circumstances as dramatic as these. A worried smile curls in his lips, and I lower my eyes a bit in embarrassment.
2 pieces of evidence. Maybe not enough to convince the Lord Chamberlain, but it's damn well worth a try.
It's something. He suddenly straightens his posture, and the light slowly returns to steely blue gaze. That light alone is enough to make a warm feeling of relief fill my heart.
I think I owe you another apology. Don't get used to it, but... well, for mistreating you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. At least he said sorry. His sudden guilty murmur catches me completely off guard.
I was under the misguided impression that you were only interested in me due to my position.
Oh.
Or perhaps that you'd taken pity on me for being removed from my own investigation.
Oh, well, the second one I believe more, but I didn't think about, like, him thinking, oh, maybe Rivian's only into me just because he wants a position like his father, because I keep forgetting that Rivian's father is the military strategist, and maybe Linnaeus is thinking, like, oh, maybe he's trying to get close to me so I can, like, appoint him to the king or something like that. Which is totally understandable, but I didn't think about it like that, because I remember Rivian doesn't really want to do what his father does, so...
That's why I thought I should focus on unraveling this affair, rather than letting myself grow attached to someone who likely had only a passing interest in me. And I didn't consider that you'd really take what I said seriously.
He clasps his hand atop my own around the bars, biting his lower lip. His skin is surprisingly warm as he tightly squeezes my finger, gazing down with a small, self-deprecating smile.
It probably seems like I'm opening up to you rather fast.
Yeah,
Just
kinda.
so that you'll help defend me against those accusations. Well, make no mistake, it's easy for a damsel in distress to fall in love with a knight in shining armor.
Aw, you called Rivian a knight.
But you've been worming your way into my heart ever since we first traded quips back in the main hall. I've been wondering how much Varrison would hate me for spiriting away his son, but if I get out of here, I think I'm willing to face those consequences.
Woo! Okay, yeah, he's into. Alright, cool. Damn it. Why did such a confession make me so painfully happy? I didn't know how much I wanted to hear it until just now. How can mere words have such an impact on me? I suppose the both of us need to work on our courtship skills. Well, after you're freed, I'd like to stay by your side, even when the celebration is over, if we can keep tolerating each other. It's just weird, because, like, considering how the relationship developed, it's a little bit, like, out of the ordinary compared to Franz and, like, Arden, so this is one is a little bit different. I lean in, standing on my toes, and try to close the distance between our faces. He presses forward in response, angling his head and teasing a smirk gently across his features.
Indeed. I think I could learn to tolerate you, as long as you promise not to run away.
Oh my god. Oh, I promise. You won't be able to get rid of me, in fact.
Like some kind of disease, are you? Well, I think I'll be perfectly fine without a cure.
It's so corny, I love it! Woo! Oh man! Woo! Okay, this is nice. Woo! I like that. Okay. Hello, that was very fast. Our lips warmly crushed together, and the heat of the skin more than compensates for the frigid touch of the iron bars. Damn, he's kissing him through the bars. Damn, I didn't know his head could fit through that, but okay. He kisses me far more feverishly than last night, immediately pulling me back every time I try to catch my breath. Seeing such passion from him somehow invigorating and excitement of getting another glimpse of the real warmth beneath his cool exterior is enough to make my heart race. Every passing moment causes my chest to ache more and more. I only want to embrace him, to get him out of this damn cell and into my arms. His tongue slips, into my mouth, pressing forward impatiently, and I let it tangle with my own. Soft, wet noises echo around us as our kiss deepens and our tongues slip and curl against each other. I'm just remembering that Arden is fucking standing outside of the door in the hallway. Poor Arden, oh my god. Wow! What the fuck? Okay, and even though his eyes are closed, I can hear the faint rattle of Linnaeus' fingers tightly clenching the iron bars in frustration, and I sense that he wants to hold me as much as I want to hold him. Damn, okay, I didn't know you were gonna draw that. Anyway, he traces my lips with his tongue, exploring the corners of my mouth almost worshipfully. A shiver drives its way down my spine as I dig my nails against the cold iron and try to keep my grounding. So strange how things like this happen. How someone who thinks they're forever separated from other people or unable to connect with any of them can find a familiar soul in such a chance meeting. I've read a few romance novels in time, but I never did wish for those events to happen to me. They were always too dramatic, too painful. Even if there was a happy ending, I knew that it would inevitably be cut short one day. But here I am, completely infatuated with someone else, before my mind even had a chance to ask my heart what the hell it was doing. Foolishness. There's no going back now, though. Even if there was, I've already set this course for myself, and I'm determined to see it through to the end. When our lips finally part, my chest heaves as I take a breath in, even though I'd rather deprive my lungs of a little bit longer. I should go. Maybe there's something I can find before you recall to the Chamberlain? Although I'm thoroughly reluctant to leave Linnaeus, I have to focus on the long-term goal at hand. While I'm no expert in this romance business, I think it's bad form to prioritize kissing over the risk of permanent imprisonment or worse.
You're right. See if you can find a way into the Duchess's room. Ask Gardner for his help, even. There's a chance. A clue that Raphael hasn't noticed is still there.
He gently strokes a fingertip down my cheek, studying me with an encouraging glimmer visible behind his glasses.
We still have a date tonight, you know.
Yeah, if I can get you out of here.
If you're late for it, I'll never forgive you.
As if I'd be so callous. Have a little more faith in me, Inquisitor. Okay, guys, we're gonna end the episode here. Wow, I didn't really think they were just gonna, like, confess to each other and be like, hey, I want to be with you, and then also make out between the bars. That was really interesting. Like I said earlier, it's very interesting to see this different side of Linnaeus, but at the same time, majority of us were right that Silas was being blackmailed and all this. So it was Raphael, he's the bitch in all of this, and we have to capture him. Hopefully nothing bad will happen afterwards, but I think it's very interesting how the romance for this route is escalating rather than with Franz and Arden. It was a much more different tone with those two than with Linnaeus. Anyway, let me know what you guys thought in the comments, and thank you once again to AGirlAndAGame for sending me a Steam key to play this game. And if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to join the companions. Also, if you would like to help support the channel on Patreon, the link is in the description, or you can support the channel for free with gawkbox.com/AGirlAndAGame. All you have to do is open it up on mobile, download the games on my page, play them, and then you donate real money to the channel, which will help me continue this series and continue the channel overall. Alright, I'm excited. I know we got into a little bit kissing there, but, you know, didn't expect the tongue slip in there. That was just a bit much. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! Hey Internet, it's Jessica, and welcome to Companion Corner, Episode 1. The show where I read your comments, your fan mail, your fan art. So delicious and... Oh god!